Okay, so this is 528, this is video 107, and I just felt I should do some more work on the GCFs and the LCMs, which we're calling factoring with a monomial now. So I'll hold off, I'll tell you in the letter later, but I'll hold off on doing yesterday's assignment till later, probably in the afternoon. I'll post the video. And I'll work on having some more assignments today, including a soup can problem, and maybe a thinking person's problem as well, and then we'll move on to division. So here we are. I focus on number one. It's a binomial to the fourth degree, and my job is to find the GCF. I'm writing it over here. Factor completely, find the LCM, and check my answer using the LCM. So I'll probably give you a homework for tomorrow that has a couple problems like that. And I did it with one variable, and over here I did it with two variables. So I'll do both of these, and hopefully you'll understand what I'm doing. So now I turn my attention and I move this a little to the right because that's where all our space is right now. I'm looking at this, like I said, this binomial to the fourth degree, and I'm going to completely factor it. I'll start with the numbers. What's the GCF of 6 and 9? Well, most high school kids are going to come up with 3. If not, you make a factor tree, and you'll be able to match the 3's, and there'll be an extra 3 and an extra 2, which tells you what's going to happen here. So 3 times 2, and I'm doing it in steps. Obviously don't have to do it in steps. Okay, and there we go. But this isn't completely factored. We decided already 2x to the fourth and 3x squared are not coprime, so it's not factored completely. So I'll make a little note here for the weaker students, maybe over here. What is x squared? Well, it's just x times itself 4 times. We learned that in 8th grade. What's x squared? You well know, right? So what matches there? The x squared. So I move that out. And what's left? Well, do it backwards. 2 plus 2 is 4. And only a 3 here gets the job done. So now I erase over here. And there we are with complete factorization. Now I'm going to go on to step number 3 and find the LCM. Well, what's the LCM? It's 3x squared times 2x squared times negative 3. Okay? And we went over that. I mean, that's how you find the LCM. The remnants times the GCF. Okay? So 3 times 2 is 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. And x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. That's one of the reasons that we did the exponential problems. So there's your LCM. Okay? This times this times this. Now I'm going to check, and I put, erroneously really, but in the right idea, I put divided by the GCF. But I'm really just going to divide both of these guys by the original terms over here. So this I'll divide by 6x to the fourth, and we'll be doing this shortly. The x to the fourths cancel, and 6 goes into negative 18, negative 3 times. So we do our check, and I'll draw a little arrow here. There's the check for one term. Notice when you do the first term, you check the second term. When you do the second term, you check the first term. And now I write the LCM one more time, and divide by the original, this time the second term, and I get negative 9x squared. So x to the fourth, 4 minus 2 is 2. A negative times a negative is a positive, and I come up with 2x squared. Let's see. I come up with 2x squared, and when I draw the arrow, it checks right over here. Okay? So that's what I'll ask you to do on a homework assignment, just a couple of them. And you see what I did. It should be fairly easy for most kids to come up with the answers here. Let's erase this. You can always pause it if you're not sure what I did. And now I'll do the same thing in 2 variables. And all high school kids are responsible for 2, even 3 variables they do sometimes. No big deal. The ideas and the math are basically the same. So now I'm focusing on number 2. I have to do the exact same things I did with number 1. And first I'll focus on the numbers. So you have 20 and 24 like you did in 6th grade as a kid. Now come on. What's the biggest number that divides 20 and 24 at the same time? That is, what GCF do they share? And most kids should be able to see this, okay? If not, yesterday I made the factor trees. You can make the 6th grade factor trees and match them up. You'll get the same thing. I double check. Yes, it works. Are 5 and 6 coprime? Answer, of course they are. The only number that divides them both without a remainder is 1. Been explained to you. You need to understand that going into high school. Okay, so we found that, and we extract the 4. And then, like we did before, we'll just leave the variable. We're doing it in steps, by the way. There is absolutely no reason to do this in the steps that I'm doing it. I have my weaker students in mind. I just want to make sure these videos clarify the ideas for everyone. And I'll just go right down here and take care of the variables. So there are 2 of them. Big deal, right? So what do they share? Well, there's CC, there's DD, as has been explained to you. There are 3 C's, C to Q, and there's D. So I match out, and what do I match? Well, I match 2 C's and a D. So I'll just do that now. So I have 4 times 5. What match? On the outside, sorry, because it's the GCF. And what have I matched on the outside? 4 C squared D. And by the way, that will be the GCF. Maybe separating it's not the greatest idea, but always teach things different ways. It's okay. All right? And what's left over here? Well, on the top one, there's a D left. And on the bottom one, it's a plus. Always keep that in mind. There's a 6C. And again, when we check, D and C share nothing. 5 and 6 share nothing except 1. And now we'll do a complete check, seeing if the LCM technique works here as well. So if you're paying attention, you're seeing that these numbers, I mean to say these are just like numbers. They're treated the same way, okay? These algebraic expressions just turn into numbers. Now, of course, one way of checking is to multiply this times this and this times this, but I'm going to use the LCM method because I like to make sure that kids see the big picture. And yet again, I'm multiplying the GCF times the remnants, or the residuals, if you like big words. And let's do the numbers first. 4 times 5 times 6 is 120. C squared times C is C to the 3rd. And D times D is D squared. So that's your LCM. Let's see if it works. If it's correct, the LCM, then when I divide this by the first term, I'll get my answer over here, and then when I divide this by the second term, I'll get my answer over here. So let's do the original here, and the original here, as we write it out, is 20 C squared D squared. Well, the D's cancel. 3 minus 1, 2 is 1, and 20 into 6. So there's the check. Okay? You can see what I'm doing. I'll give you a chance to do this. It's worthwhile doing, even though there aren't the proper checks that we're doing this math, forcing everybody to learn basically on their own. And there we go on this, and we use the second term here, the original term, and we're just checking to see that we got this down. And again, there's your division, and there's your D to the 1, and the C's cancel. 24 goes into 125 times. The C's went away. D to the second minus D to the 1 is D to the first. Check, and we put the arrow over here, and the problem's been completely solved. So that's what I wanted to do, and I'm up to 10 minutes, and I figured that since I got a little time on this video, I'm going to bother you with a abstract question. And I know a lot of you don't like that, a word problem, but I'm going to write it out, and I'll probably solve it tomorrow. I'll make a note to do it. I wrote it in my notes, and this was a Regents problem, a word problem that they wrote, and I'm going to write it out and let you think about it, and then I'm going to solve it probably tomorrow, okay? So hopefully some of you guys are watching the videos, and the school wants us to give you enrichment, and enrichment means thinking about math abstractly, not just doing rote problems where you try to figure something out and you're either right or wrong, crunching numbers, things like that. So I'm going to write this problem out from the Regents. I really liked it, so we'll see how you do on it. And so this is like, I'm not going to call it challenge, but I'm going to call it a word problem. Because we don't get that many here, and the ones we do get are ridiculous, right? A soup can, sometimes they have a basketball court with a little square inside, so let's write this out, give kids a chance, because I know a lot of you enjoy trying to figure out word problems, so I'm writing this out. The GCF of two integers A and B is 8. So they tell you what the GCF is. It's some number, 8, right? Okay? And there'd be two questions here. A, find the LCM. Should be easy, but you'd be surprised. Once you put things in words, kids get really confused. Are you able to read that? Okay. Okay. All right, good. Just making sure I got everything out there. And B, which demands understanding, says if A and B are triple, comma, find the new GCF and LCM, if there is one. If you want to tell me that there isn't one, fine. Okay? So I'll leave it like that right there with a problem that makes you think about what's going on. We'll definitely do a soup can problem I'll give you. I'll give you some homeworks on what I did this morning with those 4 steps. And then we're ready for division, which we already started with the LCMs, division by monomials. Okay? All right, so let's